Maybe technically ready. Wow, that's incredible. I can say the Germans have efficiency, but the United States have speed. Your time will start now.
My name is Nistico, and tonight I'm representing the United States of America. Just think about how cool that sounds. I mean, how many chances that people have to stand on a stage with the flag of your nation next to your name and have a chance to come out here and represent your country? As a bartender, the only people I can think to do that are Olympians. But you know what the difference between Olympians and bartenders are? A lot of things, but primarily, bartenders are selfless creatures. We live for hospitality. Our goal is to please others, and sharing is the heart of hospitality. So I'm going to share with you my legacy story. So this is my third year competing in the legacy competition. I hope it goes better than the first two. So the first year that legacy came out, they went around and they gave out this book called The Art of the Cocktail. Right? The first year, this was 3 years ago. So I was just getting into the craft bartending scene at that time. I had a lot to learn. And when I looked through this book and I saw the recipes that were in here, when I read the story about Don Facundo, about the inspiration, the innovation, and the perseverance of the family and this company, it was inspiring in so many ways. Then when you get to the back of the book, there's a DVD. On that DVD is David Cordova making the classic Bacardi cocktails. When I got home after watching that DVD, I said, wow, that is a good bartender right there. That is great technique, and it lit a fire inside of me that from that day on, I said, I want to learn everything there is to know about craft bartending. I want to work every day so hard until I can be the best at what I do. And here we are today. So a week ago in Miami, they give us this gift bag. And when I opened the gift bag up, would you believe the same book was inside of there? I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. It was like things had come full circle over the course of 3 years. And the book that first inspired me was now in a bag, and I was getting ready to compete in the biggest competition of my life. It was like a moment of clarity. Whew. Wow. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. Since I started working, I've been really fortunate. I've worked in restaurant bars, backed by great chefs in our industry. And when you work for great chefs, let me tell you, they're interesting creatures. Chefs are so innovative, they're always pushing the envelope, trying to create new flavors in a very competitive industry. And when you work with great chefs and you're a barman at their restaurant, you really have to raise your game to get your cocktail program to meet the quality of this food. I'm fortunate to work at venues that give me a creative outlet, where I can try different things and work with different ingredients like arugula, caraway, and bell pepper, and combine these things and come up with innovative new flavors. So I remember the first time when I made this cocktail, I tasted it, a couple of my colleagues on it. I said, yeah, I'm getting ready for this competition. And we tasted it, and they said, wow, this is like a Bloody Mary without the tomato. This would make a great breakfast cocktail. I said, oh, I think it would make it. Let's put it on the brunch menu. And my coworker, he said, we'll call it the breakfast martini. And I said, oh, that name's already taken. I said, so we're going to come up with something else. So we ended up with the Garden Gimlet, which I think is a fitting name for this cocktail. So I'll start making it.
That was a tricky
So I like to start this off with the caraway seed. I start off with the caraway seed because when the Bacardi hits the caraway, it's like the caraway is dried. So the flavor jumps right out immediately. When the alcohol hits the dry, it's like an instant flash of fusion inside the shaker. Bacardi Superior. When you're experimenting and using the world's most mixable spirit, it makes things a little bit easier for you. It's going to be 2 ounces for a cocktail. That's 60 mil for those bartending in other places. there, it's going to be 1 tablespoon of red bell pepper puree. Red bell pepper is available globally. It has a great citrus base. It's not a spicy. If you look at every cocktail menu around right now at trendy bars, they have a pepper cocktail. And what do they all have in common? They're all spicy cocktails. So I wanted to do something that was on a savory.
5 minutes ago.
Fresh arugula. This is acting as my bitters in this cocktail. I'm not going to muddle it, I'm just going to shake it. And it's going to bring out the great bitter notes of the green, as well as a creamy mouthfeel that's going to bring this cocktail together for us. From there, the final ingredient is lemon syrup. Equal parts simple syrup and lemon juice, just for speed of service. Crushed syrup. Double strain this to get those little arugula out of there. Keep it nice and clean. We're also going to spread it out across 2 glasses because this is great for maintaining consistency across the board. So for me, when I look at the classic Bacardi cocktails, one thing I see when I look at the handshake and daiquiri, the mojito, think about all the variations on those legacy cocktails that you can make. It's not just the initial cocktail itself, but if you were to write a book on variations of the mojito and the handshake and daiquiri alone, you could probably do 5 issues of the difference, guy. Guys, these days when you hear bartenders talk about their cocktails and their legacy, I hear a lot about I hear a lot about me. For me, that's not what this legacy is going to be about. The legacy is going to be about the inspiration that was brought to me by all the great bartenders that I see in this room tonight. I've been inspired by so many of you. And to be able to add my name to that list of great bartenders and have the opportunity to go out and inspire other young bartenders that are in the same craft and hopefully like the same passion, the same fire that I have inside of me because I was inspired by this. That's my legacy right there. That's it, in that nutshell. To introduce cocktails and push innovation. Don't be afraid. Dal Facundo wasn't afraid when he was making decisions and taking risks. So behind the bar, we're not going to be afraid when we're making new cocktails. We menued this cocktail over at my bar. In 3 days, we sold 400. My bar back has been pureed bell peppers ever since. It's probably still in the back right now. So I served this cocktail. It's on a sea grape leaf, which I found outside the hotel on the beach. I thought it was very, very, reminiscent of Puerto Rico for me when I saw it. A little sliced bell pepper and some salt on the side. Salt, I feel, is one of the most underutilized ingredients in cocktails. When you go to a restaurant, everything you eat has salt in it. But when you go to the bar, the only thing you drink that has salt in it is a margarita. That's not the case. Salt is an amplifier. It brings flavor out, just a little bit. So the judges, I encourage you to taste the cocktail, then add a little bit of salt to it, and then revisit it after that. My name is Nistico, and this is my Bacardi legacy.